Hi, in this video we will learn treatment of expenses incurred in the reconstitution of the firm. Now at the time of reconstitution of the firm, which could be at the time of change in profit sharing ratio among the partners, admission of partner, retirement of partner or death of partner, there may be some expenses which have to be incurred. In this video, we will learn how to treat such expenses which have been incurred in the reconstitution of the firm. The treatment of expenses will depend on who is to bear the expense and who has actually paid the expense. Now over here we have a table. The top says borne by firm and partner, and on the other side paid by firm and partner. Now where the expense is to be borne by the firm and the firm pays the expense also, then the journal entry is revaluation account debit to cash or bank account. Now on the other hand, where the expense is to be borne by the firm but another partner pays that expense, then the journal entry is revaluation account debit to partner's capital account. Where the partner has to bear the expense, but such expense is actually paid by the firm, then the journal entry is partner's capital account debit to cash or bank account. Finally, where the partner is to bear the expense and the same partner pays the expense also, there will be no entry for this transaction in the books of accounts of the firm. Now, when a partner helps in the reconstitution of firm, the firm may decide to give remuneration to that specific partner. And for remuneration given to a partner for carrying out work on the reconstitution of the firm, the journal entry is revaluation account debit to partners' capital accounts. I repeat, when any remuneration is given to a partner for carrying out the work of reconstitution of firm, the journal entry is revaluation account debit to partners' capital accounts. Now, while such remuneration is being given, it may be specified in the sum that the remuneration includes the expenses. Then we will infer that the expenses are to be borne by partner. Any expense that may arise has to be borne by the partner. However, if nothing is specified or if it states that the remuneration does not include expenses, then we infer that any expenses that may be incurred are to be borne by the firm. We need to understand two important assumptions. The first one, in the absence of information as to who has to bear the expense, we will always assume that the firm bears it. That is the first assumption. And the second assumption is that where the sum does not mention who has actually paid the expense, we will assume that the party who has to bear the expense has also paid the expense. So in this video, we learned how to treat expenses that arise on reconstitution of firm, and that the treatment depends on which party has to bear the expense and which party has actually paid the expense. We also learnt the journal entry for remuneration given, and that if the remuneration includes the expense, then we infer that the expense has to be borne by the partner, and if the remuneration does not include the expense are to be borne by the firm. And two important assumptions: where the question does not specify who has to bear the expense, we assume that the firm has to bear it, and where the sum does not specify who has paid the expense, we assume that the party who has to bear the expense has also paid the expense.